Versatile Mage. Chapter 177 Exposing the Truth. Why did you come so late? Said the little lowly Lingerling, her arms crossed angrily. Mo Fan looked at this little girl and started to wonder why that old man Bao only wanted him to babysit this child instead of hunting monsters. It's still early. Anyhow, you discover anything yet? Mo Fan asked. Here, take a look, replied Lingerling as she handed over a mini laptop to Mo Fan. Mo Fan was startled for a second, but as he took a look at the laptop, he realized that there were a few screens, each showing the situation of the luxury living room, bedrooms, bathrooms, and the other rooms. And at the top right corner of the screen was a ticking clock. It was a CCTV. Mo Fan was in shock and he shouted, "Are you a hacker? How could you set up CCTVs in other people's houses? Let's get to the rooftop now. If anything happens, we can react right away," replied Lingerling crisply. To be honest, Mo Fan was still slightly clueless about this task. They couldn't possibly stay at the front doors of the lady's house and rush in right away if they heard any odd noises, or they would just scare off the enemy. Besides, they still couldn't identify who the monster was, and it would be quite a problem to protect the child without being noticed. But who could have thought that the pretty little girl Lingerling had already set up cameras around the house? The angles she set up were perfect, eliminating every blind spot. Thus, if nothing happened tonight, all they had to do was observe any movements through the CCTVs and 150,000 RMB would be theirs. Girl, don't sit at the rails, it's very dangerous. Just as Mo Fan dozed off for a second, he realized that Lingerling was already sitting at the edge of the top floor. The little figure sat on the edge, swinging her legs in the air 60 meters above the ground, scaring the hell out of Mo Fan. Little girl, this building is at least 20 floors high. Any average girl would have felt dizzy once they looked downwards. Aren't your guts just a little bit crazy? Lingerling, however, did not bother about Mo Fan while she chewed something in her mouth with her mini laptop still on her lap. She glanced up at the skyline of this busy city, about to light up under the coming cloudy weather, and then observed the situation of the family through the cameras. Speechless, Mo Fan sat down beside her, and even felt some slight pain as the strong wind currents blew on his face. As he looked down, the masterpiece private garden was within his sight. At the center was a children's playground, at the west was a tiny square, a pool was in the south, and a tiny forest occupied quite a large space. The time was right after a meal, people were strolling around the garden, kids were playing at the playground, and the beautiful and sweet laughter of girls could be heard coming from some levels of the buildings. Peace and serenity filled the entire surrounding area. With such a harmonious scene, who would have related it to a horrendous monster? "I'll take a bath," said the lady, her voice coming from Lingerling's laptop. Upon hearing this, Mo Fan was slightly surprised, as Lingerling had even set up sound surveillance. He blinked a few times and said hurriedly, "Lingerling, I reckon that you are a little tired of observing the situation for such a long time. Let me do it. Are you stupid, or do you take me as an idiot?" "You pervert," replied Lingerling as she hummed. As she spoke, she casually clicked on a few buttons and right away, the screen surveilling the bathroom immediately went dark. Mo Fan laughed dryly and asked, "What about the husband and the kid?" "The kid is watching a cartoon right now, but the husband, he is starting to feel uneasy," answered Lingerling. They both continued paying attention to the monitor, but failed to identify or notice any terrifying elements described by the lady. This family looked just like a normal family that was living normally. "Is the lady done bathing yet?" asked Mo Fan out of nowhere. It had been half an hour, and the sound of water flowing could still be heard coming from the bathroom. "And that's just how long a woman can bathe." Frowned Lingerling as she suddenly realized something. "What?" asked a confused Mo Fan. "Do you still remember when she said she discovered a blood-stained skin on her husband's shirt this morning, before she rushed here to seek us out?" said Lingerling. "Yeah. What was wrong about it?" replied Mo Fan. "She had her makeup on. She cried so bad that she ruined her makeup. Now, If she discovered that there was something wrong with her husband, do you think that she would have time to put on her makeup? Not to mention that she could still take her time and bathe for half an hour right now. Answered Ling as she switched on the screen monitoring the bathroom. Fog covered the entire bathroom, and when Mo Fan stared at the monitor, he could vaguely see a body figure with smooth skin. Just as he thought he was going to get some gratuitous eye candy, he stuttered and shivered. That was no woman taking a bath, but a woman's skin hanging there. Human skin without blood and flesh looked like a deflated doll, but the wet and messed up hair was the scariest part. This is just like a snake that shed its skin, exclaimed the now horrified Mo Fan. Humph, it really is that thing, said Ling, staring sharply at the screen, as if she could see through everything. What the hell is that thing? Asked Mo Fan hurriedly. That is not a monster, but a human. I will explain to you later. If I'm not mistaken, this lady is definitely out trying to commit a foul play now, said Ling. You will keep learning new things until you die. There are just so many strange and unique things in this world, said Mo Fan before he asked again, won't she worry that her husband will find out about this? She has only such a short time, so she must be lurking around this small area, said Ling. Can you find her? Asked Mo Fan quickly. I can try, but it's not easy. As far as I know, this thing likes to suck the blood of young women. It would trigger her interest even more if the target was a mage. Now go, get her while I take care of the child here. Go and dig out her true identity, said Ling hurriedly. Okay, replied Mo Fan without hesitation, as he knew how dire the situation was right now. He then jumped down straight from the edge of the building, which immediately garnered the attention of Ling. She looked after him in surprise as her gaze followed Mo Fan, who was falling down from the 20-story building. Just when he was about to hit the ground, Mo Fan vanished within the shadows. This scene was extremely eerie in this weather. The shadow element, Ling whispered. This move was taught to Mo Fan by Tang Yu. It allowed Mo Fan to quickly descend from a high ground according to the different sized shadows created by the buildings. Of course, he practiced this move from lower buildings first, or he would have killed himself if he failed. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.